Peak Wealth Management proudly presents the Trust the Plan podcast with Nick Hopwood and Jim Pilot, where we believe by providing education and guidance, we can help you retire with peak confidence. Now, here are your certified financial planners, Nick and Jim.
Welcome everyone to the Trust the Plan podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Preston.
Preston, welcome in.
I know, it's good to be back.
All right. Preston, what are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about some Social Security changes, not in the U.S. at this point, but in the European countries. They've been implementing some changes and then talking about how that could impact us.
Well, what's the issue here? I heard the new update is Social Security will not be able to pay full benefits in 2033.
Right. So that's in the U.S., right? And we're 8 years away from that. So beyond that, something will need to change, right? Whether it's taxes are going to go up or, the amount that your promise is going to go down. But we've preached to clients for a long time now that if a change were to happen, it's going to affect younger people first, people like my age, because we have a long time to prepare and plan for that change versus, if you're 65 and you're sitting there like, do I need to claim this month so they don't take away my benefit? I think that's a far, far less likely outcome.
I agree. In 2005, when George W. Bush was pushing for privatizing, they were going to exempt anyone over age of 50 from any changes. And so that's going with your instinct. But there was just no political will to get that done. There was just no traction. I loved the idea. I was young. I'm old now. I was young at the time, and I thought, if I can invest my Social Security money, that would be awesome. But nothing happened, and here we are 8 years away from the problems. And, the rate of return on Social Security is like 1%. It's like worse than inflation. So anyway, it's not a great system, okay? And I don't see anything changing anytime soon, right? You think about we have 3.5 more years of Trump. I don't think he's going to touch it. So then it becomes the next administration and the next Congress. So we'll see if they have any political will to talk about it then. If no one ever talks about it, no one ever takes action, it's just going to, I think what will happen is we'll have the same benefits and just larger and larger deficits.
Yeah, I think that's a likely outcome too, especially when you think of from a politician's standpoint, right? The next president will take office in 2028. First term ends in 2032, right before Social Security runs out. They're not going to sabotage their potential second term by trying to cut benefits.
Okay, so recently, a couple years ago, 2023, in France, they changed the age. And what happened? What was the change and what happened?
Yeah, so the French government went to change the age of their Social Security from 62 to 64. So first of all, they had it good to begin with.
That's
but
right, yeah.
It caused riots in the streets, full-scale riots and protests, and people were very, very angry.
They were. And I went with my kids' school in 2023, and we visited Paris. And it was after the riots had ended, but they're continuing the protest by throwing their trash in the streets. So here we are in beautiful Paris, and there's just trash everywhere, and it stunk.
I believe it.
It was bad. My kid was like, I never want to come back here. Yeah. Like, okay. And so that was just going from 62 to 64. But there's also another country in Europe that just now is making changes as well.
Yeah, Denmark just recently announced that they're going to change their full retirement age from 67, which is the way we have it in the U.S., to 70, with the caveat, again, that it's going to affect younger people first, or I should say heavier, and the people who are older in their 50s, 60s, who are already planning on this, it's more of a phased approach or no impact to them at all.
Yep, if you're over 54, no impact at all.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is an interesting setup because it's not like the Danes just decided this is something that they're going to change this year. This was a rule that they passed in 2006, and so every so often they look at the average life expectancy for a 60-year-old, and if that life expectancy is going up, they raise the age for the Social Security. And so it's like an automatic trigger that happens. Life expectancy went up. We have to raise the age for the Social Security. I think that's really interesting, right? They're just following the formula.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it because, whereas France had riots in the streets over a 2-year change, Denmark, this has been a 19-year process in the making that everyone's been aware of. This is the law. They're going to evaluate it. And if the results come out this way, there's going to be a change. So the Danish citizens have had a long time to prepare for this.
And still, it's 70 versus 64.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, so here's my prediction, okay? We haven't felt max pain as it relates to Social Security.
Right.
So there's going to be a time, probably after 2033, when something happens where we do feel max pain and there's political will to take action. And they're gonna probably change the formula for the inflation as it relates to Social Security. They're gonna raise the income that's subject to Social Security taxation. Right now, it goes up every year. It's like 160 or something. After you earn 160, there's no more Social Security taxes. I think they'll probably uncap that. And then they'll probably raise the ages as to when you can collect. So right now, you can collect as early as 62. You can delay it as long as age 70. I suspect 62 becomes 65 or something like that. But it would probably, again, only be for people under age 50-ish. That's my prediction. So we want to bookmark this and come back in like 10 years, see if I'm right.
Yeah, I think it's a good prediction. And the other thing that I would even predict is maybe they take away or diminish the rule of a spouse can claim on their benefit or half of the other spouse's benefit. That seems like a pretty big reasons why we've been running deficits. So that could go by the wayside.
That could. Also, the disability could be restricted as well. After 2008, there's a massive explosion of Social Security disability claims. Curious. So, if you'd like to learn more about how we think about Social Security and a Social Security claiming strategy for yourself, reach out to us and schedule an appointment online at peakwm.com.
Peak Wealth Management thanks you for watching and listening to the Trust the Plan podcast, featuring certified financial planners Nick Hopwood and Jim Pilot. If you enjoyed our program, please subscribe and share. If you'd like to learn more about our services, please visit peakwm.com. peakwm.com today. See you next week.